another episode of the Now That You Mention It podcast with Roll J and RJ.
I'm Roll.
I'm Jay.
And RJ.
Well, guys, before we get started tonight, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank everybody for all the love that they've been giving us. Thank you for all the comments you've been sharing. Thank you for all the feedback on the tournament. We really enjoyed doing it. And if you're going to, like to follow us on YouTube, you can just hit that like and subscribe button over to the bottom there, and you'll get all our updates when new content comes out. You can also listen to our audio-only formats on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and iHeartRadio. And, give our Facebook page some love. Give our social media some love. Hit us up on the Facebook. Hit us up on the Instagram and the Reddit page. We really like to hear from you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you think, we know what we're talking about, or you think we suck. We definitely want to hear some feedback. That's how we're basing this, guys, on what we're hearing from you, our listeners and our followers. So we really do appreciate that. And how are y'all doing?
We're doing pretty good. I'd like to find out, what is this thing kind of up here hold on. I guess it's technically in this corner from me, sitting next to RJ. Kind of looks like a football. What is that?
Oh,
fantasy football trophy.
God.
I
just want to let us know
name
that he is the reigning champion of our fantasy football league, and the trophy that we hand around every year that's probably coated with coronavirus by now. So make sure you Lysol it, buddy, because you don't know about Ed. You don't know about Ed and Toby, because
I guess it's safe to say this year it's not in jeopardy of coming to my house. My fantasy team is
getting killed.
Uh,
let's just say I'm the Dallas Cowboys of our group.
Oh man, I have to go there. I know y'all. I know y'all got similar record.
It kind of looks like Oliver's the Kansas City Chiefs there.
I know, no crap, man.
5-0.
I just want to point out that it doesn't really matter till the playoffs, because by all means, last year Toby looked like he was going to run away with it, and then I came and put a stop to that. So just got to make it to the playoffs, and then it's anybody's game from there.
Hey, do we have a trophy for last place?
No, we don't have a Sacco trophy.
Sacco.
We need a Sacco trophy.
That's one of the greatest shows.
That's one of the best bits on a show, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shiva and the Sacco.
The Shiva. Oh God.
Well, guys,
I forgot they changed it.
I think we have quite a bit to talk about the Cowboys and sports, but before we really get into that, because I know we really have fun talking about that. Hey Jay, I'd like to get an update from you. How's the home search going, bro?
Well, as you can see by my name, we're still hitting the bricks. Finding a house right now is tough. It just is. There's so many people who want to relocate to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A, because it's it's a great area, and B, because there's a lot of people who want to leave. Different, wherever they're from, whether they want to be, there's a lot of transplants coming from California.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I think that's a big issue with, them moving over here to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I know that, I think you and I, Roland, talked about it offline, about how you have a client that moved a manager over here who was leasing or renting in California, paying $4,000 a month for a 1-bedroom.
No, he was in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, but it was, like barely 1,300 square feet. It was on a very small lot, and when my client came from California to here, WSS Shoes, I'm going to give them a little love. But they're opening here in Dallas. They brought him over, and he was telling me that just the amount of money he saved by moving to Texas was insane. He told me he was under contract on a house, and between what he was paying for the house and not only doubling the size of the house, but cutting his payments almost in half.
Yeah.
And then again, not having the same level of congestion here that he had over there. So,
yeah. And then, I mean, you know, I can understand the want to move from California with everything going on over there. Their economy is so screwed up in California. They're massively in debt. They tax everything, man. It's just, I mean, if you've never been to California, the first time that I ever went, and the weirdest thing that I ever saw was, you know, I stopped at a convenience store and I went to go get a bottle of water. And here, when you go to 7-Eleven, you go to QT, whatever, you go buy a bottle of water. If it's $1.50, it's $1.50. You pay $1.50. Over there, I went in and bought this bottle of water, and it was, you know, $1.50. And so I get up to the counter, and guy's like, "Yeah, it's $1.72." $1.72? You're taxing me for water? Oh, well, no. It's not a tax. It's the CRV. Okay, well, what is the CRV? It's the California Recycling. Who knows what the V stands for?
mm-hmm.
But basically, they're charging you for pre-recycling. And I said, well, that's a tax. He said, oh, well, no. It's not a tax. Dude, call it whatever you want to call it. You're taxing me for the water.
Yeah, it's a tax.
Because here's the bottom line. He's like, well, you can bring it back and get a nickel back. I said, okay, the water's $1.50. You're charging me 22 cents for the CRV, and you tell me if I bring this plastic bottle back, you're going to give me a nickel. So 17 cents of that goes where? Into the state coffers? It's a tax. You know, they can brainwash you however they want to brainwash and tell you what they want. It's still a tax. You know, so, you know, the cost of living in California is so far out of whack that it's ridiculous. And, you know, there was a time, and I think I told you this before, Ro, when I first started working and traveling over there, that I had one of the owners that I was doing a project for offered me a job over there. And I seriously considered it because at the time I was single, had, you know, but when I started looking at housing costs and realized that a efficiency apartment, you know, no bedroom, just basically a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom, was going to run $1,100 a month. I said, look, dude, unless you can offer me this much money, there's no way.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to be working 2 jobs just for the privilege of living in California. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people that work over there that do. You know, when I would go open stores over there, when I would go do, you know, business with some of the owners over there were people, you know, and these are restaurant jobs. They're making minimum wage and having to work 2 or 3 jobs just to maintain the cost of living. And I'm sorry, man, you shouldn't have to work that hard to live.
I know. I mean, and that does incentivize people to find a much more affordable area in which to live. And I think that continues to be one of the reasons why there's so much pressure on our housing stock here.
Yeah.
Because we are getting a lot of people. It's the affordability of our state. It's the fact that we are centrally located in the country. So you're relatively 2 to 2.5 hours from either coast. We're a major hub. We have, for the most part, relatively stable climate. I mean, we do get heat here, but we don't experience the harsh winters that you do in kind of along the East Coast and some parts of the Midwest. So we're relatively stable in terms of our climate. And I again, just from a, you know, right now we don't have, I mean, we have property taxes.
But there's no state income tax.
No, you're right. But
that's a big player for a lot of people because I think there's only.
What's that?
I said I think there's only like 11 states in the union that don't have a state income tax. It might be 11, might be 9, but you know, and then the fact that Dallas-Fort Worth is becoming, you know, when you look at the commerce, this used to be known as an oil region, and it still is. There's a lot of dealings down there, but most of it, you know, feeds through Houston now. But Dallas is becoming a big technology hub. You with the things that they're building up in Richardson, the things that they're building out in Las Colinas, that, companies that are moving
Develop, Uber.
Deep Ellum, yeah. I mean,
and we're also becoming a distribution hub because of the things that they built out in Alliance out in North Fort Worth and down near where we grew up, Jay, in Wilmer in the Hutchins area. They built those trainer intermodals there. So those trains are bringing in shipments from all over the world. I mean, they come in through different ports, through California. They come in through Mexico. They come in through Texas, and they get shipped via train to here, where they're offloaded on the trucks. And then again, because of our highway infrastructure here, truckers can basically get to just about any part of the country.
Well, I just think about when we were kids, when we first moved out to that area, the Wilmer Hutchins area. And I remember driving down I-45 and there was nothing but land.
and cows, remember there was cows.
Yeah. And now there's millions of square feet of warehouse space down there.
Yeah.
All the different warehouses that they built down there, all the different, I mean millions of square feet. It's not like there's one big warehouse down there. There are several large warehouses down there that are housing a lot of different companies.
And they're ramping up to build more. That's why they're widening Pleasant Run right there in front of the ranch. And you go basically from 45 all the way into Lancaster. Every house, every structure
that was there is gone.
We saw growing up is gone. It's all they've raised pretty much everything, and it's all at some point going to be, once they complete widening the road, they're going to start developing more and more warehouses, distribution centers. It's just timing at this point.
And then at some point, the high-speed train is supposed to roll.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man. To get to, well, I don't know why anybody would want to go to Houston, but you can take a ride down there.
Again.
Still on that? Nothing but love, Houston. Nothing but love.
Yeah, I don't know.
Followers.
All I know is the Astros are.
You're not Dallas, but we still love you.
God, let the Astros and Dodgers lose, please, God.
Well, the Astros are down 3, and I
looks like Dodgers are going to win tonight.
A better team than the Astros, and
yes.
It's funny because I went to go see my doctor today, and she came in the room and we were talking and things like that, and then she asked me and she said, well, is there anything else I can help you with? Is there any problems you're having? I said, yeah, I have a really big problem. And she said, what's that? I said, Doc, I can't take you seriously today. And she said, why? I said, because she had an Astros do-rag on her head, along with her face shield and everything. I said, I can't talk to you with you wearing that thing on your head. And we started talking about baseball, and she grew up in Houston. She's a big Astros fan, and she was lamenting the fact that they are down 0-3. And, she like you, RJ, does not want to see the Dodgers in the World Series either. Which I get, you don't, I wouldn't mind a Tampa Bay.
Yes. Tampa Bay
Braves World Series. I was a big Braves fan during the 90s when they had, that really great pitching lineup with John Smoltz and with Tom Glavine and with
Maddox.
Yeah, Greg Maddox and Steve Avery. They during the 90s, they went to the World Series 4 times. Should have won 4 times, but they got beat out by 3 really good teams and only won world championship out of that. And they had, Dave Justice was on that team. There was a lot of big players for them in the 90s. And so I became a big fan of the Braves. And one of my all-time baseball heroes, Hank Aaron, used to play for the Braves. So, next to the Rangers, Braves are probably my favorite team. And it's good to see them, starting to bounce back and get up 2-0 on the Dodgers, and hopefully they can finish out that series and we get a Atlanta Tampa Bay World Series. I wouldn't mind that too much. The people in Tampa might not make it out to a game because they get shitty support from their fan base out there, man.
Yeah, I don't have negative feelings towards either of those groups, especially since we spanked up on the Braves back in our World Series runs.
Oh, well.
So I guess to summarize, you're still in the thick of
Yeah.
it, right?
So in the roundabout way, I'm still looking for a house. So if any of y'all got some hints, some pointers, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to take a look at them. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, as little carpet as possible. Nice neighborhood. Big
The
yard.
carpet is flexible.
What's that?
I was just letting our listeners know that the carpet is flexible. You're flexible on the carpet because that can always be changed, man.
Yeah, I'm flexible on a lot of things. I'm my wife is more looking at the aesthetics of the house, how pretty it is, how many trees are in the front yard, and all that good stuff. Which I don't mind that. She's good. She got a good eye, and she really can see beauty in a lot of different things. Me, I'm looking at the structure. I just want to make sure it doesn't have a big old crack in the foundation. Making sure my my backyard's not going to flood when it rains and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, just to summarize, I am still looking for a house. So,
well, that closes out this week's of Jay's Home Buying Chronicles.
Hey, and I really want to thank our friend of the show, Stephanie Fuller. She sent me a house. She saw our podcast last week, and she texted me the other day. She's like, "Hey, I saw your podcast, and I started checking houses around my neighborhood, and this one's for sale." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet of her. That was very kind of her."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's too far of a drive. Now, there is one thing that I'm trying to stay inside of a certain area. I'd like to stay, north of 20. I don't really want to go if I do go south of 20, not too far south of 20. I really would like to be around the I-30 area. I think that'd be a good, because I can jump on 30 and get to work faster. She can jump on 30 and get to downtown faster. But again, we're flexible if the right house comes along and, it's within our budget. So I'm good.
Like we talked about earlier today, bro, it's just you guys just have to continue with your commitment and keep looking and
yeah.
You'll find it. It's there.
It's out there. We just got to find it.
Yeah, you got to find it. Real quick, just a public service announcement. By the time you see this episode, it will be past October 15th, which is for those of us who are self-employed and don't generally file our tax returns on time. Tomorrow is tax day as we film this episode. Again, by the time you see it on Sunday, it will have already passed. But October 15th, get those taxes in.
Or go to jail, one or the other.
Hey, did you, I was going to ask, the good thing about waiting this long to do our taxes is I was able to incorporate the Donald Trump tax write-off. So I'm only paying $750 as well. So, when the IRS gets my tax return and they look at, all the
write-offs
and deductions and stuff, just kind of follow it under the Trump method.
Well,
fine.
You know that once your kids get grown and move out of the house and start earning their own money, you can't claim the dogs as dependents, right?
No comment. No comment.
Needless to say,
I officially changed Wishbone's name to Ricardo because I figured if they saw Wishbone on the tax return, they probably would think something's hinky. But if I all of a sudden had another kid named Ricardo, I probably could get by with it.
What I was going to say is that, needless to say, that we might be having some future episodes where one of our cast members needs to film from a jail cell.
We'll put his mic up to that little speaker that's on the other side of the plexiglass.
Right.
He might sound a little like this, but at least we'll still be able to talk to him.
We can bring.
Maybe by then I can get a computer that works with green screen and I can make it. Even though I have, I'm behind bars, I can make it look like I'm in the Bahamas or something.
We can bring Arrested Development to podcast form.
There you go.
Hey, real quick, while we're kind of shooting the breeze here, have either of you really watched this sitcom, The Community?
Yes, I have.
Have you, Jay?
No.
I think one of our previous episodes before we got into the the movie challenge. We challenged each other to watch television shows and see if we could get each other into the new shows, right? And I'd like to do a follow-up series to that at some point, one of our episodes. But I'm telling you, the community is comedic genius. It is greatness. I know it's been off the air for a while now, but on Netflix they have they have all 6 seasons. I think it's 6 seasons, 5 seasons, 6 seasons. It's an ensemble cast. The great Chevy Chase is in it. Ken Jeong.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I'm telling you, man, you got to watch it. I stumbled onto it a couple of years ago and kind of watch. Well, why not bring him in, man? Well, I fixed my hair. It looks like we're going to have a special surprise.
Keep going.
Right?
Keep going.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead.
No. You keep going.
What I was going to say is, the community it's refreshing. It's creative. These guys have they do everything from a cartoon version of themselves, claymation version of themselves.
Oh yeah.
Versions of themselves. They do Christmas specials with sing-alongs. These guys, they're constantly changing up the I guess the format in which they're delivering the episodes. I think it's great. I think it's creative genius. I'm a huge fan. I'm going to do a little bit more research on it so that when we do a community episode, I can go on and on and on about it. But Jay, I'm telling you, because you're like me, you love a good laugh. RJ does too. So I think if you watch a few episodes and get into it, the chemistry and some of the undertones that those guys incorporate into their storylines is pretty damn funny.
So is it a show where Kim Jong plays a Spanish teacher?
Yes.
That's
you know that, and just to clarify this before it gets taken out of context, or the PC people come for me. You know that clip or image of him where he's like, "That's what did he say? That's gay." Have you seen that? It's from that series.
Or where he goes, tacos.
Well, he wouldn't know that one. That one's not as viral as the "That's gay." But yeah, it's a good show. I'd be interested in doing that. I think the three of us maybe need to get together on a weekend and talk about some content for future episodes, because we still haven't done our hot pepper or Carolina or the hot chip challenge.
Well,
I know one of us is kind of pushing it off, but
Well, my wife kind of put the kibosh on that when she saw some dude had a heart attack from eating one.
I mean, people have heart attacks from eating burgers, but you still go and eat a burger.
That's right. You still eat a burger. Hey, that's a good call, RJ. I think he's just hiding behind his wife as an excuse. Oh yeah, she's putting the kibosh on it because, and I think he's just using that as an out.
I'm just saying, it's kind of a dangerous challenge. We still have to, we still need to do a live episode from Roland's house from by the pool or something.
Yep. Well, guys, let's hey RJ, I can't hear you, bud.
Your mic is up, buddy.
What's going on there? Hey, when we edit this week, Jay, you can start putting balloons on there with whatever comments we want to put. Since RJ's we can't hear him, you and I can create his dialogue, right? We can put whatever we want to.
Well, he's unfortunately RJ's taking over the editing responsibilities for right now while I conduct my house search, because my weekends are pretty much tied up with house hunting now.
Oh man. So that means we can't play some of the hijinks that he did to you last week.
Yeah, that was fun. We watched the episode last night.
Unmute yourself, RJ.
My wife and I, and it's funny because the part where he put the Chef Boyardee hat and mustache on me made her laugh so hard she almost fell off the bed.
I'll tell you this, to your credit, or I don't know that's the right phrase, but I did try to find an image of a coat for you, but I couldn't find one that was gonna be able to edit it onto, and it looked good. So I just went with I'll just add a mustache in.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. It was definitely good comedy, and the trash can Dallas Cowboys dumpster fire,
the hot garbage boys.
The hot garbage boys was pretty hilarious too.
Yeah.
She said,
speaking of the hot garbage boys,
oh God,
we got to give a little bit of attention to our fallen. Let's see right here, Mr. Dakota Prescott, number 4. For those of you that saw that game, obviously Dak suffered
he needed a doc.
Oh my gosh. Suffered a season-ending ankle break, compound fracture.
Yeah.
Out 4 to 6 months. Very painful, very scary to see.
Man, that was hard to watch.
Right. Very hard to watch. And I mean, I think anybody who's a diehard Cowboys fan was just heartbroken to see that with Dak. I mean,
yeah.
Whether you're a critic of him or you're a hardcore fan of him, there's no doubt Dak is by far a all-around good guy. He is one of the guys that I think that anybody that's sincerely a football fan roots for. To me, he's the leader of this team. This is his team.
Yeah, unequivocally, man. That's just
this is his team. And, I mean, obviously we hate to see him on the sideline, but I have a feeling that he's going to be in there, coaching to some degree from the sideline. Getting his guys moving along, and thankfully in the offseason we did bring Andy Dalton in, so I'd be a lot more worried. Obviously, you would still rather have Dak in there starting, but I think Andy is going to be able to do a good job, and he's surrounded by a number of weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you signed a guy like Andy Dalton, because look at who we had in the past, guys. I mean, shoot, I can't. Steve.
Yeah, there's no unmemorable. You can't even remember.
Yeah, exactly. I know one of them went to.
Kellen Moore was our backup.
Oh God! Well, we need to get rid of him altogether, in my opinion. But no, I mean, prayers to Dak. I agree with everything you said. I think you can be critical of his play, and he's just but regardless of that, I think he's a leader for the NFL. Not just the Cowboys. I think a lot of people see him as a good person. He was getting a lot of respect and well wishes on Twitter, on any social media platform, really. So that just kind of goes to show you how much people like him.
I was going to say that just speaks volumes of how much people not only like him but respect him.
Yeah, exactly.
I know in the past Troy Aikman has come out and said that Dak is a good young man when he's talked to him in the past, and it was really hard to watch when I saw the play happen. Almost immediately when he pointed down at his foot, I said that he's done. That's it. That's his season right there.
I know.
I knew that was not an ankle bruise. That was not a sprain. That sucker was broken by the way it was hanging.
Mm-hmm.
And when he banged it on the floor to pop it back into place, hell, that took some guts, because I don't know that I could have banged, because it was dislocated and he just banged it back into place, but it was still, flopping around, and it was so hard to watch, man. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that they didn't show the replay of it, because I don't know, how many people can. I mean, it's like having to go back and watch the replay of, hey, bro, what's up, man?
Wow, look at here.
I
was actually just coming off another live stream. I was just hosting my own show, so I was finishing up there. My guest was live from India, so
wow.
That's kind of tough because again they're in a different time zone. So I think
How is Dr. Sanjay Gupta?
Oh my gosh.
He's really good, man. He's really good.
Wow.
Just wondering. Anyway, so after I'm glad they didn't replay. We're talking about Dak's injury here, by the way. After haven't seen it, and I'm glad that they didn't show the replay, because that's like having to go back and watch the Joe Theismann or even Kirk Cousins.
Or even Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Sorry, not Kirk Cousins, but Alex.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think you meant Alex Smith.
Yeah. That was the one that was like, ugh.
Yeah, and so it's hard not to feel for these guys to begin with when an injury like that happens. Even if you don't like the team, if you don't like, I'm not the biggest Alex Smith fan in the world, but I don't wish anything ill on the guy, and to see something like that almost derail his career, and to see him and what's funny is it kind of came full circle in the fact that
the same day too.
He played the same day, his first game action since that injury 2 years ago.
2 years. Yep.
That Alex Smith injury he almost died from that. That wasn't just a leg injury. He got sepsis from the wound. He got an infection, went into respiratory failure. He damn near passed away from that. They had to take tissue and muscle out of that area, take tissue and muscle from other parts of his body and put it into that area just to give him the opportunity to walk again, let alone play football.
Mm-hmm.
And then here you are a year after that, second operation or whatever, and he's back on the field. And it's scary to watch him get sacked the first time he got sacked, because he got sacked 6 times that game. He came back. And, and you look at that and you can't help but look at Dak's injury and go, man, how close was it? Because it was that guy that rolled up on his ankle was 300 pounds. And it was because he was a defensive lineman that rolled up on him, wasn't it?
I thought it was a linebacker.
I thought it was a linebacker, but still, those guys are like over 200 at least.
Yeah, they're usually in the 220 to
it's not like they're
250 range.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not small chaps anyway.
No,
they're by no means small.
I mean, somebody like Khalil Mack, who's he's probably a good 285 solid, right? And can run and chase it as a beast like that. That's not somebody small that's falling on you. So
yeah, exactly. So by no means is either way is it is it an ideal scenario, but you're just like, I think you're just, I don't know what the right way to say this is, but you're just glad, I guess, that it's a break, a compound fracture, and it wasn't a what do you call a ligament tear or anything like that. Obviously modern medicine has made huge advances, because even if it was a tear, I don't think his career would necessarily be over. You're starting to see guys tear an ACL and come back. The recovery process is still long, but they're still able to come back much more than what it was before.
Well, hell, there's pitchers that have had multiple Tommy John surgeries.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that too.
And 15 years ago, Tommy John surgery was the end of a career.
Exactly.
That was a career ender, and now you're having guys that are having multiple Tommy John surgeries on the same arm that are still able to bounce back and come back and throw with some velocity. That's incredible.
Yeah. But I after Dak went out, I think the Cowboys responded well. That first Zeke touchdown, after that, he willed himself into that end zone.
Yeah, he was hyped, man. He was.
Yeah, he was. You knew he was going to score that touchdown for the team, but for Dak too. And I got to say, man, I've been saying it all along. Michael Gallup is a badass.
He is.
CeeDee Lamb showed up in this game, but I'm telling you, it always seems to me whenever there's a big pass play, it's Michael Gallup on the other side of that thing. That dude, I don't know if you saw that one pass that he caught on the sideline with his toes.
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. That guy's a playmaker. I think, again, I'm excited that we've got Andy back there, because I think, again, with the weapons that's on this team, Of course, all of that to say that none of those guys play defense.
Yeah.
And I will give props to D-Law this week. He showed up, got the strip sack, made a big play. That's the D-Law that we know and love. Hopefully he'll have more opportunities to do stuff like that. But we're still giving up way too many yards right down.
I was just about to say,
way too many yards.
D-Law don't play cornerback, so you know.
And this is what's frustrating, man. When you sit there and talk about, your glowing review of Michael Gallup, and I can't disagree with you. The fact that Amari Cooper, who 2 years ago came in here and basically transformed this team because we had a shitty receiving core, is now basically relegated to a second tier wide receiver behind Michael Gallup. And at some point you gotta think that CeeDee Lamb's going to be up there too. And when you're looking at the fact that you're bumping Amari Cooper basically down to a third receiver on the depth chart.
No, I tap the brakes on that. Hold up.
I was going to say,
if that were the case, they would not have put their best cornerback on Amari last week.
That's what I was going to say. I think you got to understand too that Amari Cooper is still the stud here. I think one of the reasons that Michael Gallup shines, that even CeeDee Lamb, is the fact that Amari Cooper draws a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I think if you got him, in most one-on-one coverages, I still like Amari Cooper.
I still think he's wide receiver number one. I do too. Gallup and CD might have more speed than him, but the way he runs his routes is just
absolutely.
But see, this is my point, is the fact that we can debate this all night. Which one of the three is the best receivers? And we're talking about three outstanding receivers, and it's so damn frustrating to have.
Because on the other side of the
Well,
ball.
I know.
I think this kind of points out a glaring shortfall that we really didn't pay attention to, and that was when they let go of Byron Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
RJ was saying that last week. Yeah.
That's a big mistake.
He was pretty, again, quiet but solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you're missing. And man, that middle part there. I mean, literally, our safeties
have fallen apart.
But here's.
I think
we have safeties.
I agree with you having Byron Jones makes a huge impact on this team. But here's what I still contend, bro. You can help protect your secondary when you can get pressure on the quarterback. And let's just be honest, we have not been able to do that. And the other thing too is no one respects the middle of our line. Everybody is running right up the gut, and they're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 yards a carry. And so long as teams can do that, and you're really asking your secondary not to be true coverage, not just to be true coverage, but also to back up your run, to be a run stopper, because those are the guys that are tackling the running backs 7, 8, 9 yards down the field, because our linebackers sure aren't doing it. It's hard. And then couple that when you look at some of the time that these quarterbacks have to throw. Now, I know that certain teams, their scheme gets the ball out quick. So even if you had a good pass rusher, chances are he's not going to get there. But there are times, and you guys all have seen it, when their quarterback almost has all day and can scan the entirety of the field because there is no pressure on him whatsoever.
Yeah. There were plays back there where multiple games where the quarterbacks are just basically standing back there in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they damn near allowed Daniel Jones and the Giants to double their score average. I mean, you give up over 30 points to the Giants, to Daniel Jones, without Saquon. That's the other thing. They don't even have their best running back. It's just ridiculous. And, I mean, I know somewhat we're beating a dead horse, but They got to do something because I think there's too many people right now who think that our strategy needs to be, well, just tank, go draft another quarterback, and you save yourself some cap room. But the problem with that is you're still in the same position. You might as well just pay Dak.
I think they were expecting a lot more from who they signed out, like in the offseason, right? They were expecting a lot more from like Clinton Dix.
Yeah.
They what was the guy that? Why is his name slipping my mind? That injured himself. They cut him.
No, he went to OU.
He was interior lineman. He was.
His name starts with a G, I think.
Yeah, Gerald McCoy.
So, Gerald. That's it. Yeah.
They were expecting a lot from him, stuffing in the middle as well until he got injured. So there was a lot of because again he'd done that in Tampa Bay. He'd done that stuff other places. Same thing with Clint Dix. He did well in Green Bay. And
Green Bay, yeah.
They thought that they were going to get some kind of value out of that. And I mean, dude, that and missing on a lot of draft picks. I mean, that always comes back to get you. I mean, not right away, but it does. I mean, we spent a second round draft pick on what's his name? I always forget the offensive lineman from Texas. Something Williams.
Not Chase. Doesn't his name start with the C? Yeah.
Yes, it does. It starts with the C, but again,
Connor
Williams. Yes, right. So spending a second round draft pick on that guy. I mean, when you really could have used safety help, when you really could have used something. I mean, you got to be. Again, Norm talks about this all the time. You got to be able to get value out of a lot of those picks, and we just haven't. I mean, even as much as we want to. Whoa, hold on just a second. Even though as much as we want to, it sucks because we can't. We want to be able to build upon, and that's part of like what still the really good teams are able to do is build through drafting. I mean, it's very rare that teams just are able to go buy their way to a championship. So it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And the opportunity has been there. I mean, Bob does a great job of documenting, their examples of that where they were in position to, draft a player who contributes significantly, and they just missed. I mean, look at how long ago was Mo Claiborne? What was that?
Yeah.
20?
Yeah, that was 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right before obviously the Dak and Zeke draft. But I mean, that's a guy that you should have drafted someone who was ideally still gonna be on the team and still at least, if not a major contributor, at least was adequate at the position still.
It kind of makes you because I know that the cornerback that they drafted this past offseason,
Trayvon Diggs,
is he going to be as big as playmaker as they thought he was going to be? Because he hasn't really shown up, and I know it's just his rookie year, but when you draft somebody especially in the second round like that, you kind of expect them to be a player right off the bat. And he just hasn't been. I mean, some of those deep balls that have burned the Cowboys have been on him.
Yeah.
And so, blown coverages and bad calls, but aside, you still got to wonder, is he going to be another Mo Claiborne?
Time will tell, bro. You do got to give him a chance. I mean, the part of it again is I think he's being exposed for a couple of reasons. Again, because I think quarterbacks have way too much time to make decisions. And I don't care how good a cornerback is. If you give a quarterback all day, they can wait for a receiver to cut and get open and throws. And some of these quarterbacks, their skill set, I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes, but I was watching Green Bay, I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, and they showed a clip of Aaron Rodgers making a pass. And Aaron Rodgers has his eyes downfield looking, so he's freezing the safeties, and he throws the pass kind of about 15 yards off to his right. And, you know, when you got guys who have that kind of skill level and can deceive secondaries, what chance do they have when a guy, some of these quarterbacks have 7-8 seconds to make a pass play because we're just not getting any pressure on them, right? And so I think Trayvon will get better. I don't think he has any protection, right? I mean, there's, again, we don't have our safeties, I think, up to snuff. And I certainly don't think that it helps that we're just not capable of really stopping anybody. I think most of the time that the Cowboys are able to get off the field without the other team scoring is because the other team somehow shoots themselves in the foot, whether it's a penalty or they make a bad play. I mean, because let's be honest, there were a couple of these games where Cowboys shouldn't even been in it if the offense would have caught the ball. Right, it was a couple weeks ago. It was against Cleveland. Cleveland could have blown the game open even wider because they had a couple of drop passes that wasn't our defense that stopped them. It was them stopping themselves.
And dropped interceptions too.
Oh yeah, that too.
I mean, not to put it on Dak, but there's issues to be addressed everywhere. I don't see. Obviously, I'm going to have to adjust my, what we predicted back in. How long ago did we do our prediction?
Here's what has always driven.
I can dig them up.
Here's what's always driving me nuts, though, and this is why the teams that are still successful stay successful. They pick a system. They find guys that fit that system every single time that are their type of player. And they plug and play. Pittsburgh's been this way forever. Pittsburgh blitzes, they run a 3-4. They find guys to fit that thing. Same thing Belichick does. He finds guys to fit into his system and gives them the opportunity to go out and make plays. That's part of about what we don't do. We don't have an identity. We've never had an identity of this is who we are, right? This is what we do. You can go back and look at what Pittsburgh does, what the Ravens do, what the Patriots do. They pick
even San Francisco. What San Francisco does.
Francisco's done, yeah, exactly. And they've changed their roster, but they're starting to figure that out. Pick our system, what it is that we want to operate in. Find those guys. I mean, they've lost a lot of really good players. They lost guys like Navarro Bowman. They've lost the guys that. One of them plays on our team now. That was a big part of their
Aldon Smith.
I mean, they've changed that roster over again. They've been to the Super Bowl 2 separate times, different rosters, different coaches,
different quarterbacks.
But they've picked the system and they decided to stay with that. Whereas we pick something and we go, "Oh my gosh, it's not working. What do we do?" Right?
And then switch again.
So everything that you've done for the last 4 years, drafting players for certain positions, all goes to naught. Now you got to get somebody to change again. And I think if you pick an identity and stick with it, stay with it, even if you change a coach, find a coach that's going to fit the system of what you're doing. Hey, I run a 3-4 here. We need a defensive coordinator that runs a 3-4. Are we going to be running zone blitzes? Are we going to be running whatever it is? But stay with it. Pick that. If it is. That is
you know what, Gabriel? I agree with you. I think that's a valid point. And when you consider the fact that we gave Jason Garrett as long a tenure as we gave him, for us not to have created that identity is almost shameful on Cowboys management.
Look, here's the point, right? Here's the point. Let me just put this right here to say this before you go into your point. Wade Phillips was not good as a head coach, but everywhere that he's gone as a defensive coordinator, his style is what it is. Denver, the Rams, their defenses always find a way to utilize it because he sticks those guys in his system, and that's what they play with, and that's what they rely on. So they draft those guys to fit that system, and even though he is, he's again doesn't have the knack to be a head coach, he's a really good defensive coordinator because that's what he sticks to. That's what he wants to do. So if he's running a 3-4, which he does, he knows we run difficult zone blitzes. We run, we find ways to shoot gaps. We love to do stunts in different ways. So people figure that out. And when you see his system, it's hard to defend because you get really good players in a system like that.
So let me ask you, Jay, what does if JJ's general manager, what does he do?
JJ is general manager, Jerry Jones.
Not that JJ. This Jay.
For me, first thing I would do is sit down with Mike Nolan and ask him, what is your plan? What's going on with you? I would talk with, of course, I'd sit down with my head coach and my defensive coordinator and say, look, I feel like we have an offensive identity. We know who we are offensively. We're going to be a high-scoring machine because we've got a great running back. We've got 3 great receivers. Our tight ends may not be up to snuff, but you know what? We've got 3 really good options at wide receiver. We've got a hell of a quarterback pre-Dak injury. But I think even if you put Andy Dalton back there with those weapons, you're going to get some kind of performance.
And don't discount your tight ends. I mean, they've been better than average. I promise you.
Schultz has been pretty good.
But they're not where we expect tight ends to be. But I guess because we've been spoiled by Jason Witten for 20 years or 30 years or however long he's been playing.
30 years.
But then I sit down with Mike McCarthy and Mike Nolan. I say, okay, so what are we doing defensively? Because that's where our problem is. Our offense is not what's not keeping us in games. Hell, we're scoring damn near 30 points a game. What's the problem defensively? Talk to me. What's going on? How come D-Law is not performing? Why do we have one good defensive lineman in Alden Smith? What's happened to everybody else?
I'm not so sure that D-Law's problems are coaching. I think you got to go sit down with D-Law and find out what's going on with him because, I saw a little bit more out of him this game. And again, I understand he draws a lot of double teams. I understand that he might be a more run first focused type defender, but the whole reason you paid him that money was because he was a game changer in his contract year, right? He was disruptive. He was getting into backfields, even when he was double teamed. And I don't know if it's maybe a psychological thing. I don't necessarily know that I want to question his heart, but it's certainly something's going on there because, up until this week, he was almost non-existent.
Yeah. Well, and then you got to look at your linebacking core. I know that
I agree with you there.
Sean Lee is Sean Lee. He's great when he's there, but he's not there. Van Der Esch is starting to get that tag on him as well of being soft. Not because he's not a great player when he's on the field. He's a great player when he's on the field. He's just not on the field. Hurt too often. And Jalen Smith just hasn't been living up to his new contract.
I agree. I think, like I said last week, Jalen Smith's a good number 2 quarterback. He's not your stud linebacker. Sorry. He's a good number 2 linebacker. I don't think he's your stud linebacker. I'm sorry.
The committee is still out on that. for number 2.
Damn.
I think that's
Damn.
No, but it's interesting that Uncle Gabriel brought up Wade Phillips, because I agree with him. And if you'll remember, Dad, we were actually talking the other day that I said they should talk to Wade Phillips, because I mean, both the teams he mentioned, the Broncos and the Rams, both went to the Super Bowl. I mean,
but when you're the head coach of a team, I don't think you can come back to that team as a.
That's what I was telling him, Jay. I told him the same thing. I don't know that you can come back.
That's embarrassing. Look at it this way, RJ.
Although Dave Campbell did it.
He did, but I look at it this way. I've been a general manager or above in my position for over 20 years. Different levels. I've been a district manager. I've been a regional manager. If you were to ask me to go back to one of the places that I worked with and in a lesser role and say, hey, can you come back as an assistant manager instead of a general manager? I would flat out turn that down, because I would feel like I was being insulted at that point. And I think that's kind of, I don't think you can now. Dave Campbell was a different story, because Dave Campbell should have never been a head coach.
I would agree with you there.
Dave Campbell should have stayed a coordinator. And I think he knows that. And I think, he was lucky that Jerry gave him that opportunity. He blew it. He knew it. And he was not too proud of himself to come back as a coordinator. But I think Wade, he's been a head coach twice now. And I think that for him to come back to the Cowboys as a defensive coordinator would feel like an insult to him. So I don't think that you would be able to bring him back as a coordinator. It's too difficult of a move to come back to that, because how do you look at Jerry Jones now in the face as your owner and as your general manager and go, hey, I couldn't cut it as your head coach, but I'm gonna come back as your defensive coordinator.
It sure would be great for the 8:40 segment on Monday on the ticket.
Yeah, it would be about 40 bit.
Fake Mike McCarthy and fake Wade would be great. So, but I mean, there's some merit to what you're saying. I guess it all just depends on how bad Wade wants to come back in and coach in the league, because he is out of a job right now. So
yeah, but you also got to look at Wade's age. Wade's getting up there. He might not want to come back to coach, because I know he's pushing 80.
Well, as far as he says,
I don't know. Some guys that's in their blood and what they do. I mean, Dick LeBeau was there in Pittsburgh for almost till he died. So,
yeah, but those guys are few and far between. I think at some point tired of the grind.
Well, I think that's in his lifeblood. You tell somebody, hey, I'm going to step back for a year. You go start watching them again, games on there. You go, wow, whoa, he should have been doing this. And it gets back to them, and they're like, I need to hop back in. I'll go find a team. Somebody will hire me. I mean, I got a resume. I've done this. I've been a head coach before. I've had championship defenses that I've created. So somebody will definitely take a look at them. It won't even, a lot of times, they won't even think twice about the age. They'll go.
And I can answer that question. He is looking. Because the reason I know is because he posted it on Twitter, and that's what got me to thinking about it. Is that he posted he's still keeping his lines open for a job.
The flash there was not that Wade Phillips is looking for a job; it's the fact that RJ follows Wade Phillips on Twitter.
I got retweeted onto my timeline. I don't follow him.
Are you sure you're not getting fishing tips from him? Getting tips how to climb up the pole and get on the.
What I'm waiting for is the next cycle to happen in football. And what I mean by that is it always seems that one side of the ball starts taking advantage over another. So right now, the spread defense, the spread offense and the way that it's played and that sort of thing really controls a lot of how teams play and how defenses are created. I'm waiting for somebody to put together and figure out the defense to take care of that, because there always is one. Somebody's going to find the chess pieces to put it together. Once they do, that's it. Because again, it was, you look at the wishbone. Everyone's like, oh, the wishbone this wishbone that, when it was in college. And then you try doing that in the NFL, it doesn't work. They have a defense for it. Guys are faster. The way that they play, the way that they shift, the way the gaps are filled, it's not the same, right? 4-6 defense was the same thing for the Bears. They dominated. right? They found the right personnel. They found the defenses to run the way that they ran it in the way that they did, and you saw what it does. Same
Until
thing
the West Coast offense came and exposed it, right?
again, the offense, but they can't. Again, you catch it up though, right? I
The
mean,
great Joe Montana came in.
same thing.
Oh,
Same thing with the Ravens. The 2000 Ravens were running the 4-3.
The overrated Joe Montana.
The 3-4, excuse me. Right? They found a way to shut down defense, shut down offenses. Right?
Joe Montana has.
So there's going to be a team. There's going to be a team, and they're going to find a way to attack the spread offense and equate a defense. Somebody hasn't just put the personnel together to run it.
I agree with you, Gabriel, that someone's working on that right now. I think the one thing, though, the one distinction is just how much you've hampered coverage defenders. It almost seems that in certain games, just the slightest amount of contact will draw a flag. I know as Cowboys fans, we always feel like it's the ticky-tack calls against our defenders. Whereas, you've seen it called a little bit more the offensive pass interference, but I still think that it's harder for defenders to continue to be or to engage, right? And I think that's what's always going to give the wide receivers just a slight edge, because I mean, even if it's incidental contact, they're still calling it, and you're getting, it's a 5-yard penalty, but it's an automatic first down, and it continues to keep drives alive.
No, I agree on that, but my thing is, what's one thing that I can never understand, and what is problematic, and why the receiver 9 times out of 10 will win, is because you're talking about a wide receiver who's either 6'4", 6'5", or 6'6", going up against a defensive back who's either 6'1", 6'2". Guys got 3 to 4 or 5 inches on who they're covering. I don't know about you, but even on my best days, if that guy has that size advantage over me, my quarterback has to do is just throw it over the top. If I can outleap him, I'll make the play. That's why whenever you see guys who like Richard Sherman, or like even back when the Eagles had Bobby Taylor, these guys were 6'4", 6'5" cornerbacks. You took the advantage away from the wide receiver, so it really was about how they ran their patterns and what they did. That's why, again, Seattle's defense worked really well, because they had huge cornerbacks and safeties.
I'm glad you brought up Richard Sherman, because did y'all see what old Derrick Henry did to him?
No, was Josh. That was Josh Norman.
I mean, that was Josh Norman. Damn it! Why was that?
You got the wrong one. Josh Norman's a loudmouth too, though. But Richard Sherman, though. I mean, he's a loudmouth, but a lot of the times he can back it up. During his prime, man, he was solid.
I don't know. I would like to see Derrick Henry do that to him too, man. Because
I can't say I disagree with you on
that. He did to Josh Norman. Last night was
it's bully ball.
That was a man facing a boy right there.
That's what I think. When you start finding those corners who can do that, who are big and brutal like that, I think that you take that one advantage away. That's what's going to kill. That's what you're going to be able to defend against a spread offense like that. Is when you start having huge, big corners like that who can fight off wide receivers. Because again, go look at how big your big top receivers are. Go see what their sizes are. When they draft them, they want the guy that's 6'4.5", 6'5", who can run that, that 4.25, that 4. They want that guy on the other. So you start finding those guys who can defend that and at least take away the size advantage. At least, I think that's when you will start seeing a really good defense form, and you'll start giving those front four up front a lot more time. Because when you're able to have a good backfield like that, it really helps out. It's usually the other way around, right? It's when the front four is stronger, right? it's a lot easier to be a better cornerback, better wide receiver to run, that sort of thing. But again, like what Seattle did with what they had, the big reason can you name any of the front four from those teams?
Hell no, I can't. But you know about the Legion of Doom?
Exactly.
Or Boom,
right?
Yeah.
The Legion of
So
Boom.
you can tell 3 to 4 of those guys who were on those teams.
Hey guys,
Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and
I know that we can continue to talk football, football. But we're getting to push our time limit. I wanted to talk real quick, Jay. You wanted to make a quick comment about early voting, right?
Yeah, I mean,
early voting. Give it a few minutes, and then we can wrap up the segment. But definitely, I think all of us
realize
know how important this election is, right? This is going to be set the tone for our country for the next 4 years, and with so much divisiveness, I think that's in the country. I hopefully we have a peaceable
transition
outcome on this thing. Yeah. So with that said, tell us a little bit about what you witnessed, Jay, with the the poll.
So I mean, just looking at different reports and things like that, I know that Dallas had a near record turnout for the first day of early voting. Harris County, Houston area, had a record turnout of, on the first day of early voting of over 100,000 people. So I think a lot of people, like you said, are starting to realize that this election is probably the most important election we've had in a generation. There have been big elections. You wanted to know about,
think about Gore Bush, right?
Yeah, there you go, Gore Bush, or even the first Obama when he who did he defeat his first term?
Not John McCain. It was the other guy that.
Was it Mitt Romney?
Was it? That would have been 2012.
That was the guy with the messed up hand. What was his name? Just Google 2000 whatever election it was, right? So
I'm on it.
But that just goes to show you that
2012.
Yeah,
so.
That just goes to show you that these elections were not nearly as big a deal as this election this year is going to be. Bob Dole.
So he defeated Bob Dole and John McClane. John McClane. There's a John reference.
No, it was John McCain.
Yeah, it was John McCain.
It was John McCain and then Mitt Romney.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Mitt Romney came first, but anyway, The point is, the fact that we're having a hard time remembering who the candidates even were during that election tells you that election wasn't nearly as important to us as this election is going to be to many people. So, the fact that we had
weren't paying enough attention to politics, but keep going.
Could you name them? I didn't hear you throwing no names out there.
No. I'm agreeing. I'm saying I'm pointing the fingers at all of us.
He said we.
Oh, I thought you said we.
Yeah.
But I think that it's important for us to realize that fact and get out there. I'm probably not going to go the first week. Early voting runs through the end of October. I think October 30th is the last day for early voting before Election Day. So I'll probably try to go somewhere in the middle. My wife and I last night were checking our voter registration status to make sure we're good. We plan on getting out there and letting our voices be heard. But yeah, there were reports of people waiting 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get in to vote.
When did they start letting felons vote again?
Damn.
As long as my record was expunged, so I'm good.
Oh, okay. Take a
You know,
second.
Well, I think it also
They didn't have conclusive evidence that it was him. It's just circumstantial.
The bite mark didn't.
accusation and conviction are two different terms, pal.
That's right. The bite mark didn't fit, right? So
Damn.
I had to quit.
Well, if you drive by and past any other polling location, I mean, they actually did break the first day voting record yesterday. It was in 58,000 was the record, but they broke it. I think they got up into like 59,000 yesterday in one day in Dallas County. So, but I would say go vote at AAC if you can. They've got a very good setup over there. From most reports, people are getting in and out in 15, 20 minutes, even during busy times. They have, I think, over 60 machines there. So,
Oh, wow.
For those of us who don't know what sports are, what's AAC?
The American Airlines Center. It's in this place of Dallas called Victory Park.
Okay.
So don't confuse it with the AAA in Miami. That's the American Airlines Arena.
Oh, I got you.
Right? That's a different one.
And what teams play at the AAC?
The Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars. The great Dallas Mavericks.
Oh.
And the great Dallas Stars, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
the great.
They got the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
Buddy.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just, if they're both on at the same time, I know who my time is going to.
You're going to be over there on Luca.
Yeah, man. I'll switch to the Stars during commercial break.
They should be doing something in Arlington as well at that new stadium that we spent, millions of dollars to build, other than hosting playoff games for other teams. Right?
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah. Can't we do something?
Damn.
There? That'd be nice.
Damn.
John Daniels, if you're listening to our podcast, I've got a little piece of advice for you, buddy. Quit. Leave town.
Well, hold on.
Leave this job to somebody who doesn't look like he's a 12-year-old.
I'm not going to necessarily defend John Daniels' honor, but I think more than anything, it's ownership needs to sell. Those guys are pinching pennies over there. But
apparently they're not pinching enough to build almost a multi-billion-dollar.
That's because the taxpayers paid for it. They stole Jerry's plan.
And then it looks like a barbecue grill. That's the worst part about it.
It looks like those sheds that they have out at on the ranches. It looks like an equipment shed.
We, the people, the fans of Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Texas Rangers, never believed that you did anything wrong. We know that it was John Daniels out there that ran you out. We know that you left a sinking ship. We need you back. I can personally guarantee I will take care of John Daniels if you come back, Nolan.
Whoa. Hey. Wow.
I want to distance myself.
That's on record, man. That's on
Wait
record.
Wait a
I would
minute.
like ownership to let him know that John Daniels needs to go. That's what
I was going to say, let's define taking care of, because there's different ways to take care of something, right? So
yeah, I'm speaking to that one. I would write a letter to the ownership to let him know John Daniels.
Oh, okay. I got you. Very good.
As a lifelong fan, because the Texas Rangers came to Arlington the year I was born in 1972, and have had my love since day one. As a lifelong Rangers fan, ownership.
So
John Daniels is done here.
Would you prefer they cheated their way to a World Series? Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious. It's just a hypothetical.
No,
if you had to pick, okay.
I had to pick one or what? What's the hypothetical?
Be in the situation the Rangers are in now, or cheat your way to a World Series like the Astros did. Those are your two options.
Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him lie to you. He'll take the World Series in the New York second.
I know he would.
He will take the World Series in the New York second. He won't even think twice about it.
You see, guys, these are the people that vote for Trump over here.
You pointed to y'all side.
Hey, I have another plan that will help save us, right? It's pretty simple, right?
What's that?
Invest as much money as you can instead of a stupid state into getting Theo Epstein here. I would rather pay for that. Why? Because
No.
no.
I'm going to tell you why the stadium is genius on the ownership's part. Okay, because this is truth and gospel. Pitchers, quality pitchers, and quality players.
Yeah, he's right about that, Gabriel.
Play here, especially during the middle of summer when it's 100 fucking degrees outside, and you got to wear a full uniform and pitch for 5 innings, 6 innings.
Yeah, he's right about that, Gabriel. That's true.
The genius first step of ownership to draw top name talent here, buddy, and that's just the bottom line.
And not just that, but it was a hitter's park because of the jet stream.
You know what draws top-notch talent? It's pretty simple. And I don't care where the environment is. It's called money. Money draws
exactly
the best.
But, Gabriel, I guarantee you.
Wait. Did we or have we not been to 2 World Series? Yes or no?
We did.
We have.
In this heat? Yes or no?
Yes, we have. But it wasn't because of our pitching. It was not because of our pitching. It was not because of our pitching.
Who was the trade that got us over?
That's my point. It was a trade. They didn't sign him as a free agent. You're not going to get top-tier free agents here, buddy. What happened right after that? When his contract expired, where'd he go?
Gone.
Back out.
Gone, because we didn't offer the most money.
No, they offered him a ton of money, dude. The problem was
not that we didn't.
Here, dude, pitchers do not want to pitch in this park. A, because it's a hitter's park, like RJ said, and B, they don't want to pitch in this heat, dude. Clayton Kershaw, they offered Clayton Kershaw when he went, when he was almost to free agency. The Rangers were set to offer Clayton Kershaw a ton of money, and Clayton Kershaw said, I don't want to go pitch for the Rangers. Why? Because he lived here. He knows what it's like to pitch in this heat in the summer, because he played high school baseball here, and he doesn't want to do it, dude. I'm telling you, nobody wants to pitch here because of the fact that they got to pitch in 100-degree weather.
Look, Gabriel, I to some degree, I agree on both sides of this. The teams that went to the World Series, we had some good talent. We did. But to sit here and say that our pitching was top notch, it was not.
I'm not saying it was top notch.
It was not. It was homegrown. It was homegrown talent. It was our farm system that helped to really put together the base pitching staff there, right? And so those are guys that were in our farm system that we brought up. And then we traded a couple of new ways.
Or we traded at lower levels and brought these guys and brought them up into the thing.
Right.
Now why do you think Theo Epstein took two of the longest drought teams, two of the teams that had the longest droughts to world championships, and took them to a World Series?
Dude, I think Theo Epstein's a great GM.
Yes,
he is.
I'm with Jay. I agree.
I don't care if you bring Theo Epstein here. I'm sorry, dude. He would not be able to draw top-tier pitchers here if they were still pitching in the old ballpark.
Okay. Well, here's the thing now. You got the ballpark.
Now you do, yes.
Right? Okay.
But that was my argument to you. That was the first genius step of the Rangers. The second genius step is they need to get rid of John Daniels. And yes, I would love if they went and got Theo Epstein, dude. I would. You know what? If they went and got Theo Epstein, I'd go build a shrine right in front of the new ballpark to him. But
bad out there. Wait,
let him win something first. Damn.
Theo Epstein's a genius, dude.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying, look, you're ready to crown him before he's even here.
To some extent, Gabriel, JJ, I have to side with JJ on this. I think even if you'd have brought Theo Epstein here as the first step, I still think he would have struggled to get top tier pitching talent to come here.
I think
you had to build a stadium,
but I think
it had to be done.
That's the genius of what he does, though, right? If he knows the situation is, I can't money whip the guy. Let me go trade to get the guy that I want, so he doesn't have the option, and I have the controllable years on him. That's what he does. That's how it changes the culture. So even if they were pitching here in the heat,
but you got to remember two things, though, Gabriel. The era of controlling the players is over. The players are in control now, because all of these studs have now
no trade
agreements. in their the no trade clauses in their agreements. They dictate where they're going to go and how they're going to go. So that whole mindset of controlling the players and getting the assets, you might be able to get them for a season, maybe two, but at the end of the day,
they're gone when their contracts.
The power has shifted. It's no longer the teams in control. It's the players that are in control. And these guys have the ability to customize these contracts. And I mean, it's one of the reasons, and I know we're talking about baseball, but it's the same thing that's going on in football too. That's one of the reasons that really Dak, it's not just about the money that Dak signing. It's also about the term of his contract, because the Cowboys want to lock him up for a long time.
And he wants foul.
Right. And in the player's reality is, for them, the shorter contract is better, because then they come back to the market and they get to reset their value. And a lot of these players that are signing contracts today, Gabriel, is those guys are not only getting a ton of money, but they are being very smart. They now have tremendous control over where, when, how. And so, yes, I agree with you that Epstein would, he probably would get you some of the pieces here, but I would still go back to JJ's point. They ain't going to stay. The moment they can get out of here, they're going to get out of here.
Well, that's fine. But if it brings you a World Series, what does it matter? What does it matter? To me, that's the point. If it are you trying to keep somebody here for 7 years? Are you worried about that? Or can you get to guys who you can get them in that time frame of window, right place, right time, and get over the hump? That's essentially what he did in Chicago. And those guys wouldn't trade what they won for anything. We know what it is to essentially be on the cusp of having it all and having the rug taken out of you. You wouldn't have traded away.
Yeah.
8 inches to the right, and Nelson Cruz is a hero, right?
Right.
And it's good. But you saw what happened. It slipped out from under the rug. You get that one time, and even like in Houston, right? You can't take it away, right? It was theirs. You don't trade it. So you don't have to have the perfect 5, 6 year, 7 year plan. You just have to have the good 2 or 3 year plan to get the people and places that you need with the talent you already have on the team, bringing in the guys that you can bring in control. And I think that's what he does better than anybody else.
I also need to refuse to accept the Houston Astros World Championship.
They also need to get rid of Odor and that terrible batting average.
Damn.
We could start there. But anyways, more of the story is go vote.
Go vote for Go vote for your favorite All-Stars, folks. Right? And don't let voter suppression stop you. So, right?
No, definitely. Yeah, it's important. Get out there and vote. Trump, Biden, go make a selection, have a voice. I'm hoping that
we'll be saying bye, Don.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but it felt like the longest 4 year nut kick that I can take, and I don't know if I can take another 4. I really don't. I mean, my scrotum is hurting already thinking about it, and I don't want to go and cross that line again. So please, people, go out there and vote. Take the May West approach, right? The May West saying, if they're between the two evils, I take the. Or how does it go? Hold on, I screwed that up. Damn it, I screwed it up. I gotta look it up. I forget it now. Never mind. It's somewhere around the lines of picking the lesser evil, the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah.
I take the one that I haven't tried. That's what she says, right?
Yeah.
So you've had this flavor. Let's go see what I mean. Really, truly, is you can always take the next 4 years and go. I know what I've dealt with 43 or whatever the hell he is, and I don't want to go through it again. So
Well, look, I mean, I think that the reality is that I really don't think that our country can survive another 4 years of divisiveness, of underhandedness, of controversy, of double talk, of misleading, of misguidance. I mean, we need leadership, and not that I'm saying that Biden is the perfect leader, because I don't believe that, but I do believe that we've got to put our country on a path that hopefully 8 years from now we need to we need to be taking our country in a direction, and hopefully getting ourselves back in you know what, just to a level of civility that we can be proud Americans again. And I'm not saying that we're not proud Americans, but I think our pride is kind of taking us in down two different paths, and that's not good. Anyway, guys,
hold on. Before we get out of here, real quick, take everything you just said, change Donald to Jerry Jones and America to the Cowboys, and that's essentially what we've lived with for the last 20 years. And yes, I want change.
Oh my God! As they say, Jerry the manager, or Jerry the owner, will never fire Jerry the general manager. So keep dreaming. Anyway, guys, hey, it's been a lovely hour and a half plus. We really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you, Gabriel, for jumping in and joining us and letting us shoot the breeze. And we want to thank you all for for your patience and sticking with us and helping us to have another fantastic show. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Show us a little love. Check us out on Apple Podcast, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and what's the other one? Spotify. And visit our YouTube page, and Instagram and Reddit. I'm sorry, folks.
Guys, you can follow me on Twitter.
Some of the things that are going on behind the scenes here are just nerve. I mean, they just derailed me.
You can follow me on Twitter, and thank you so much,
folks,
everybody.
Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, all of you. Again, thank you, Gabriel. And thank you, Jesse P, because we couldn't do this without you. So for Roll, Jay, and RJ, we're signing off from the Now That You Mention It podcast until next week. Have a great weekend.
Good night, guys.